Steven Crowder is quite upset right now that crime is down. Violent crime, all forms of crime for the most part, are trending downwards in this country. And this is difficult because the Trump campaign has tried to make this a part of their strategy. There's a really funny piece. Let's actually just turn to this before we get to Crowder in the Detroit News, because apparently Trump backed out of an interview with them after the numbers on crime were pointed out to him. We'll just read here. National violent crime data from the FBI showed the rate of violent crime decreased from 2017 to 2019 during the Trump administration before jumping in 2020 to 398.5 incidents per 100,000 people in 2021 and 2022, the first 2 years of President Joe Biden's administration. The nation's violent crime rate dropped, hitting 380.7 in 2022, according to FBI data. Do we have this up on the screen here? Because I'm going to read this part. However, the Trump campaign said Tuesday the federal data was, quote, totally unreliable at the present time because the FBI arrived at the statistics by using, quote, estimated crime numbers for law enforcement agencies that didn't report numbers. Okay, fact check here. The overwhelming majority of these precincts have reported numbers. There are a few that haven't done so, but it would mean a dramatic statistical shift. Like, you would have to have all the so much crime concentrated in these specific areas for it to change this downward trend. Because as you see, it spiked in 2020 when we were in the midst of a pandemic, a once in a lifetime shocking event where people were in economically precarious situations, and also everybody's mental health was quite difficult. Now crime is on the decline. But Trump, in hearing about this, if we could scroll down here a little bit, Bradley, the Trump campaign had initially agreed that Trump would participate in an interview with the Detroit News on Tuesday, but after the newspaper began asking about the Michigan crime data before the event, a campaign aide and the presidential candidate no longer had time for an interview after the speech. So it was pointed out to him specifically that in Michigan, because, like, you know, they're always talking about Detroit and Chicago, whatever, that in Michigan, crime had gone down, and like the little baby that he is, Trump couldn't deal with the facts of that situation, and he withdrew from the interview with this local paper. Good luck with that when you need to win Michigan, buddy. With that said, Steven Crowder is also having a hard time dealing with this news about their entire narrative about violent crime and, you know, the fact that their YouTube algorithms of black people fighting in different areas, or these like extremely exploitative montages of homeless encampments in various cities, that's not reflective of nationwide trends and is just there to reinforce their biases and fears. Here's Crowder.
Here's what Donald Trump said on the interview.
Right? What he's done with crime, with cashless bail, where you kill somebody. I mean, we have states there, you kill somebody and they let you out right away. I mean, you don't have to even put up, and then they never find the people unless they kill again, and then they let them out again. Our country is becoming a very dangerous place.
Can we pause that for a sec? Okay, so Trump is claiming there that Biden instituted a nationwide cashless bail policy. That never, ever, 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 ever came close to happening. It was never proposed. It was never talked about. Of all the Democrats I could think of that are alive and in a position to ever be president, Biden might be the least likely to institute such a program. Yeah. It's insane and untrue.
I would just say, like, the cashless bail thing has gotten a lot of very stupid people tripped up. The idea that if you change to cashless bail, so okay, now all of a sudden we're going from cashless bail to just a typical bail situation. The person who decides whether that person is allowed to get on bail is a judge. The difference should not be whether that person can pay or not. That is a elitist, classist policy that just locks up people into Rikers. All the people that have problems with cash bail have no solution to what to do about Rikers or pretrial detention. They are blowhards passing off a conservative agenda. So and so like the issue here is the judges. Like anytime someone's like, oh, that person would have been locked up if not for cash bail, a judge decided to let them out.
Yeah,
that's the judge's issue, and
the cash
it will happen
bail
sometimes.
And the cash bail reforms largely in these states throughout. I mean, I haven't seen ones as it relates to violent offenders. That's a lot of misinformation that's being peddled. I mean, specifically repeat ones. Like there are many instances of poor people, particularly people of color, being locked up because they can't afford bail. Sometimes for crimes that they didn't even commit. People should Google Khalif Browder.
Because what's happened?
No, I just want to point out, Khalif Browder was held at Rikers Island for the jail there. He was accused of stealing a backpack. It didn't end up being true, but he was held in solitary confinement for years and eventually killed himself. He was a teenager at the time. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that cashless bail and these kinds of reforms are meant to stop, because we already prison the most people in the world.
Raw and percentage-wise.
And it's not because all these scary dudes are here in the United States. It's because we have a system of incarceration that is inherently exploitative and needs reform. But even with all that said, with all of these things that they're saying progressive DAs are doing and that, you know, Trump is claiming Biden is doing, violent crime since 2020, when there was a spike, and 2021 there was a carryover, has been dropping precipitously.
Yep. And we can talk about why it rose in a second here, but we can get back to Stephen.
Yeah.
Our country is becoming a very dangerous place.
Okay. Now, everything he just said is correct.
I did not know that.
Here's the CNN claim that both violent crime and property crime have actually dropped significantly in the years 2023 and the first quarter of 2024. Here's the truth. It doesn't matter. It's far above pre-COVID levels in major cities, even accounting for the new misreporting. So from 2019 to 2023, if we're looking at that number, murder up 18%, assaults with a firearm up 32%. Auto theft up 105%. Even with the funging.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's all down because it's still up because of 2019. Well, what's happened since then is the coronavirus pandemic, which massively upset the entire world, including American society, which caused, a spike, and including these knock-on effects, say like massive inflation in housing prices, which causes more and more people to be unhoused, which, by the way, isn't good for crime when people are in that level of desperation. So there's a explanation for this that's besides the nasty Democrats got into power, because guess what? That rise, Stephen, started when your boy was in office.
Right, exactly. Keep going. Oh, that's it?
That's it. It's just him saying it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't. That's all he provided?
He just then is like, he just gets mad. He kind of sort of just grouses about CNN fact checking and the whole fact checking industry, so to speak. It's not very substantive.
Just
he said it doesn't matter that it's
CNN
returning.
article, because it's not CNN claiming this. They're using the FBI's statistics, okay? And I'm sorry, if you think that the FBI is going to downplay crime, you should read like one history book, because the FBI, they're cops. There's no incentive for them to downplay crime, because when crime is up, they get more funding, they get more resources, they get to fearmonger and do what they want. Yeah. They get to have the reins let loose for them to be able to crack down on, say, I don't know, civil rights activists or something, for example. But
you would need to be the greatest institutional leader of all time if you were going to lead the FBI and help them take down the Republican Party.
Yes. Violent crime is down and the U.S. murder rate is plunging. FBI statistics show, this is from June. Violent crime dropped by more than 15% in the United States during the first 3 months of 2020, according to statistics released Monday. Again, this was in June by the FBI. The new numbers show violent crime from January to March dropped 15.2%, compared to that same period in 2023, while murders fell 26.4% and reported rapes decreased by 25.7%. Aggravated assaults decreased during that period when compared to last year by 12.5%, according to data, while robberies fell 17.8%. I mean, these are double-digit decreases across the board. And okay, so you see there, The numbers that are released are gathered from 13,719 of just over 19,000 law enforcement agencies across the country. I'm going to do some quick math over here just to see 13,719 divided by 1,900 or 19,000. So that's 72%. That's 72% of the law enforcement agencies. Now, it would the rest of that percentage, the 37% that are left, you would have to have all of those statistical anomalies concentrated in those unreported precincts to change that trend.
Well, all of those precincts, they haven't reported because they're under a John Carpenter assault on precinct 13 style situation, and they're fighting off the murder gangs as we speak.
I forgot. Right. That is when everything's a conspiracy. It's probably easier for you to believe that kind of nonsense. So apparently facts don't care about Crowder's feelings.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I want it to be the case. My algorithm says it's the case.
It doesn't matter that it's returning to they already, like, look, America does have, and there's I don't know if we have it, but Buttigieg got into it with a Fox News guy over violent crime. He's like, what about, Chicago has had such violent crime, and Buttigieg says, like, well, there's other cities led by Democrats that don't. Why don't you look at, like, say, all of the violence that happens in rural Missouri, which is actually even greater than some of the urban areas they like to fearmonger about. People get shot in the South way too goddamn much because of the gun lobby and that sort of stuff.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.